Good morning, gang. Happy Sunday morning. Well, will the house of cards finally come tumbling down? I'll believe it when I see it. It's been interesting here what's happened lately. And we're finally seeing the corruption getting called out to the public. If we want to reestablish confidence in our media, in our government, something's got to be done. And we're starting to see some of it. Now, yesterday morning I did a video, tried to put out something a little optimistic for people. Some appreciated it. Some called me all wet. Okay. But we need to take our wins where we can get them. And we need to see more to reestablish a unified country, to reestablish faith in the entities that have big influence on our lives. You look at what's happened in the media recently. George Stephanopoulos with ABC got fined, or I guess settled in court. ABC settled for, what was it, $16 million, $15 million for calling Trump a rapist multiple times. Okay? AOC did it multiple times last week. We need to hold her accountable. She needs to be sued to oblivion as well. The Democrats need to learn that inflammatory language, when it's lies, cannot stand in this country, and there are penalties for libel and slander. Hopefully, somebody in the Trump family, not administration, sues her into bankruptcy, and the Democrats wake up and go, if I want to protect all this stolen wealth I have, maybe I shouldn't lie. There's an idea. Stephen Colbert's show got canceled. Late night, Letterman's old show. Because, well, he was making $20 million a year for doing it. The show was losing $40 million a year for CBS. The same CBS that just had to write a huge check to Trump for falsely editing the Kamala Harris email or interview back during the election. Because, again, we had the media lying to the public and got busted and had their feet held to the fire. Okay? We need to keep up with stuff like this. Then you get what came out Friday night. Conveniently on a Friday night, because most people don't do a whole lot of paying attention to the news over the weekend. And then by Monday, everybody hopes, gee, something else will be the new shiny object that the media will be watching. Watch out for something to be created to cover this one up. But if you paid attention to what happened, Tulsi Gabbard, the former Democrat who was a Democrat in 2016, who is now shifted to independent and now shifted to Republican, like multiple other Democrats have done. But funny how I don't see any Republicans becoming Democrats, who famously stated, like so many others, I didn't leave the Democrat Party left me. Okay. She didn't feel like being a communist. She didn't want to participate in a coup to overthrow the republic and turn us into a Soviet Union type state. No. So on Friday evening, Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence now again, remember, released unclassified to the public all the documents related to the Trump-Russia collusion probe. And she referred everything to the Department of Justice for investigation and prosecution. Now let's take a look at the names that were on there. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, James Clapper, Jim Comey, Susan Rice. I mean, there's a list of 5 of the most treasonous people to the Republic since Benedict Arnold. Okay. In these reports, at least from what we've seen so far, Obama was the mastermind in creating the Russia collusion hoax. They did it to try to undermine Trump's candidacy against Hillary Clinton back in 2016 when Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat. And then when she lost the election, when it didn't work, they tried to ramp it up even further to damage his credibility as president. And of course, then the media was contacted immediately and said, you need to push this narrative. Congress was informed, you need to impeach him, you need to do whatever you can. The lies just kept building and building and building upon each other with the intention of undermining the will of the American people. This was, for lack of better term, but by dictionary definition, an attempted coup on the United States. And now we have the documentation that proves it. Meetings or minutes from meetings held between all these people in the White House, stating exactly what they were going to do, how they were going to take down Trump, how they knew that Russia didn't interfere in the election, tried, but were subverted, but didn't interfere, but spun it to saying that Trump was the one who masterminded it all, when actually it was Barack Obama who was the one who masterminded it all. Yes, there needs to be accountability, and there need to be perp walks and executions. Treason is an executable offense in the United States. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, James Clapper, Jim Comey, Susan Rice committed treason in these acts by the legal definition of the term. Attempting to overthrow this government is treasonous. You'll probably hear some defense. They have a right to go against the government, blah, 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 Second Amendment type stuff, right? No. There was nowhere in the first Trump administration where he was dictatorial, where he was punishing American people, anything of the sort, right? But that's the premise they're going to go on. That tells you how far out there their lunacy, their TDS is. And then over the first 4 years of his presidency, they impeached him twice. They tried to kill him. You know, they raided Melania's panty drawers. it just gets worse and worse and worse. When you build on one lie, you need another lie and another lie and another lie and another lie. Do not tell me that Joe Biden won the 2020 election at all. This was their attempt to continue their bloodless coup. So, after all the investigations on how Russia tried to cheat, apparently they got a little bit done in Illinois, didn't affect any of the votes, and tried in other states and didn't work. But the Democrats learned where all the holes were. And so then they exploited them in 2020. Okay? And Joe Biden miraculously got more votes than any president in the history of the country, still to this day, supposedly. Okay. I still want to know where 20 million voters from 2020 went that apparently didn't vote in 2024. Because Trump got a little bit more than he got in 2020, and Kamala Harris was 20 million short of Joe Biden. So then, tell me that this didn't continue. Have you ever known a president to buy a house a couple of blocks away from the White House after his term was over? No. Okay. Especially when they claim that they are from Illinois and Hawaii, because I need to stay in Washington, D.C. because I love the restaurants. It doesn't fly. So we know Obama was running a shadow government with Joe Biden in there. With the auto pen, Joe has already come out and said he didn't know a lot of the names that were signed on all these pardons. What else didn't Joe know? Joe just sat there eating his ice cream, falling asleep on the beach, Jill changing his diapers, and was a figurehead, a puppet, for 4 years, while Barack Obama ran the show. We all, the public, I'm not saying us on this channel, speculated and assumed that between 2020 and 2024, and we're told we're crazy. Except now, more and more is coming out saying, we were right. Go figure. But now you have someone who was a Democrat when this was all going down, who left the party, my guess is because she was privy to some of this stuff that was going down, blowing the lid off of it all. Will we see prosecutions? Will we see perp walks? Will we see jail time? And like I said, my preference to start seeing some executions, treason. I doubt it. Should the people demand it? Yes. Democracy is a very fragile thing. This country is a constitutional republic based on some of the premises of being a democracy. It's very difficult to keep it together. The people have to believe in it. If the people collectively don't believe in it, that allows communism, dictatorial leadership. That allows the few to seize control. This country was built so the many had control. There's some people that don't like it. They all have a D after their name. They want complete control. They tried. It's going to be interesting this morning, Sunday morning, watching the Sunday morning news shows, to see the damage control that the media tries to do on this coming out. Who they parade in front of the cameras, what the talking points are, what the word of the day is for all of them. But Barry and Hillary and Jim and Susan and James got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. Maybe we should take a little bit of ideas from the Muslim community and cut their hands off. Because this has to stop. This country needs to come back together. Getting rid of them would be a real good idea. Want to put them on Alligator Alcatraz, put them in Alcatraz, put them in Supermax. I don't care. But none of them deserve to see the light of day after committing treason against this country.